Hey, good evening. I'm Eric Warden, City Council seat 4. I'm filling in for Jay Rosa Pepe, as, what do you call it, chair?
Vice chair.
Vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Today, is September 10th, a little after 3, so we can get started. Is there anything anyone wants to add to the? No? All right. And just correct me, please, where I'm wrong on this, because I'm no veteran at doing this, so.
We all.
I'm not sure how formal we are, but we will do our best.
We are not here to judge.
Perfect. Item number 1, approval of SAC minutes from June 11th, 2024.
So
Second that.
Okay, you guys say show of hands or what do we?
No.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
That's it? Aye?
Aye.
All right,
Favor, aye.
approved. All right, item number 2, electrical switch gear replacement. Who wants to lead?
All right, that's me.
Marty?
So electrical switch gear replacement, this replaced the automatic transfer switch that was original installed treatment plant. Last year, capital project, we updated and replaced the load bank for that generator. So this was for the same piece of equipment. Power goes out, switch gear comes on. We'd have it fail on a couple things and couldn't find parts, so. So we wanted to put it on the budget and having that replaced. So we actually got that completed, installed August 8th. The budget for it was 200,000. So project completed at 31,586. So 168 budget, 168K under budget for that one. So it's online.
Yeah, what was, you know, I'm asking, what was the difference? Is the scope of work changed or?
So we found a specialty contractor that specializes in this instead of local electricians, and by doing that, we're basically, they're kind of going direct to the manufacturer for stuff. They're still on the MRC roster, they still met the requirement. But
Sure.
the prices that we've got from them, even with the load bank, have just been phenomenal.
Save that person's number out.
Yeah, and they're extremely efficient in how they do things. When you send multiple people, each person has a job and they are like in and out.
But also, they were the ones that suggested there was another way of doing it, wasn't it, to get it cheaper?
I have asked Mark.
Yeah, we'd, what was it, when it was previously installed, it was the only one on, back in the 80s, it was the only transfer switch in the whole plant. So it was service entrance rated, and so when you guys did which is an extra cost, the service entrance rated transfer switch is like adds an extra $20,000 minimum from what I hear. And so when you guys did the upgrade in 2004, 2000, whatever, and you put that whole other part of the plan on for the MBR and that other load bank, they created a bunch of different power breakers throughout the plant, so it's not all loaded with this one. So this new one doesn't need to include it because there was so many different additions. Everything had kind of their own cutoff switch, really. So that took a lot of money off, and yeah, they were efficient. They're like, yeah, we got that, and it was in stock. The only issue was ordering or scheduling to have it done, which, you know, they're busy company, but they came in, they brought a crew of like 6 vehicles. Like you said, everybody had their own job and they did it all in one day.
What
Pulled
was
the
the
whole
name of
one.
the company again?
Legacy.
Yeah. Switched the name to like Onity, but they're still under Legacy. So they're Legacy Communications System.
Yeah, they're a big company and they have all these subdivisions. And they're right out of Good Harbor.
Any more on that one? No?
All right, not me. Congrats on that savings.
Yeah, that was fun.
Item 3, grip pump replacement.
Yeah, so this was a grip pump that had failed, some years back. They're traditionally pretty dang expensive. they're supposed to meet these requirements for sand and grit, this 9 hard coating that the district wants to have, so we're trying to replace that now that we were getting stuff in, the one that we pulled off the line, and so I got multiple bids on that. And ordered it, we're gonna install it in-house, it actually did deliver, in August last month, a couple weeks ago. The budget for that was 37,000, we went out for a few, the other couple bids were over, and going with Doble Sampson on this one, and got the 26,600, so 10,000, 11,000 under. And so we're just waiting to install it in-house.
Sweet. Fine screen replacement, I think, isn't fine screens one of the things that I think we, on my first meetings, talked about purchasing those?
Probably.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we talked about them, so they've been around a while, they got upgraded or updated, I guess, during the MBR installation too. I think they used to have old comminutors, so for the MBR installation, they needed to change the type of screening that was at the headworks, micron sizing, and just, you can't have a lot of trash going to your MBR or your membrane, so, for us, they're kind of outdated. We're spending like $10,000 a year just in the brushes. Replace the brushes twice a year on each side, and it's $10,000 for those. And so, and labor costs associated with them. So we started looking into different options of fine screen. There's a lot of H2S corrosion in the headworks there. So, anytime you want to change the design of things for different options, you got to go through engineering. Ecology has to approve it. So I've been looking at like a single potential rotary drum screen at the headworks. They're huge. They spray from the outside, pulls stuff up. And they're like slip-in units. So they're like stainless, pretty much encased. That would be dropping into this eroding concrete that's already there. And so we want to like try and cut the middle block out of it where these two little screens fit, and then drop this big one in there. And so that's where the engineering needs to come from. So that's currently where it's at. It's in engineering. They're trying to provide me with like a scope of work so that I can send it out to bid. And it's still in engineering. So I don't have any more updates on it. Got a couple of just preliminary quotes on seeing what the cost is for those, and they're within the budget that we have, but we haven't got any further than engineering on those.
Concrete structure repairs.
I think we chatted about this one last time too. They've all been completed this year. We had some cracked slabs out front of the treatment plant, and some CMU blocks during the Nisqually quake that had popped out at an expansion joint. So we really wanted to just clean all that up. So we got that taken care of early this year. Budgeted for 30,000 on that, and cost for all that work was 20,500. So 31% under budget.
What was interesting during that earthquake is everybody thought that was a new crack. Oh, that's an old crack. Yeah, so what we did was film everything, all the cracks, to see, we get another earthquake, is it a new crack? Is it a wider crack? It was an old crack or what? I mean, because nobody notices anything until after the earthquake, and then everybody's trying to say, well, that's a new one. No, that's an old one. And you got this big argument going. What has really happened? And so it was something that we did because, and then also, I mean, like you go out and you have a sewer line near somebody's property and you rip up their rose bed. Well, they honestly thought they had 15 roses sitting there, but when you got a video, they can look at it and say, oh gee, I had 15 when I planted them, but there was only 5 alive when you dug it up. So it's really kind of funny, but especially the plant, it was funny, the arguments between the different operators.
That's actually quite common. My day job, doing stream restoration, and a homeowner pretty nearby, said that the workers cracked her foundation of her home
Right,
I mean, the moss, you know, in between the cracks kind of gave it away that it didn't really happen, but it's actually, you don't pay attention, you probably didn't
no,
even notice it until work was being performed, and then you really, your eyes start picking up things, yeah.
oh yeah, and it's not that a lot of people, I mean, some people are, but most people are not, but they truly believe you did something you didn't do.
For sure.
You know, and it's very typical of people, because you don't notice it. Their driveway, especially if you're doing any work, you take a driveway and then the concrete driveway, and you know, they'll swear that you made all those breaks, the cracks, and then when you show them the film, they go, oh, I just never noticed, I really thought you guys.
Yeah, I did though, I did that like, annually, maybe just walk it and check, like, we annually walk and look for new cracks and new joint separations or new.
Do you walk annually and check out the cracks
Daily.
daily? Okay.
Always looking around.
But it is, you know, it is something to know, because who knows
Yeah.
what can happen.
What was the final number on that? You said 30K budgeted and
So
20.
we did, it was budgeted for 30K and, cost for all those were $20,530.
Nice.
Real quick, I'm sorry, but the electricals, gear replacement, you said you thought that was gonna be,
200,000 is what we budgeted for,
I call that J now, and then it was actually like,
31,506.
Yeah.
We're just not spending it.
wait to see my sewer fees lower. All right. Oh, thank you. Next topic, number 6, aeration upgrades.
So, areas and upgrades, controls, aerostrip, currently this is also in engineering. We selected, Jacobs to use on this since they did our, engineering through AWC, Association of Washington Cities, on the nutrient reduction evaluation. And they already have a lot of data on MBR and our plant and our drawings, so we went with them on this and they have a site visit and really went back and forth in engineering. They're creating a model right now to see like what type of aeration we need. You know, that's really where we're at with it is we budgeted for the aero scripts and then currently it's in engineering. Just plan on trying to bring it up to date on design of the MBR as much as possible. For the increased ERUs all over and increased loading, so, it's currently in engineering, same thing. I don't have a lot of updates on that, so.
MBR blower replacement, I think that was another topic.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the same thing, the MBR blower replacement and aeration upgrades controls is all for the same process. We actually, the blower that we just got last year replaced, failed again already last week, so we have it offline. Because it's undersigned for the size of the MBR, so this is still part of the, part of that study, you know, do we need 2 blowers for this? Do we need to split these trains? There's 4-inch headers that come out of, or 6-inch headers that come out of the blowers. They go to each MBR and then they drop the 4 inches. So like, you know, the engineers agree, you know, our lines aren't big enough to supply the air. The blower is too small to supply the air. We're averaging like 0.4 milligrams per liter of DO, dissolved oxygen, in the MBR trains, and that's with the MBR blower maxed out at 100%, which is causing a lot of the issues, is the blower maxed out. So we just can't maintain. So like I said, we're trying to bring it up to a usable, process for today.
And also for adding the cassettes,
Yeah, plan it to next year.
because we're gonna need more cassettes.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we have some slots for extra cassette, but we currently can't just throw extra cassettes in there when our MBR blower is undersized and we can't provide aeration for it. So that's kind of all of this is trying to step them in within the last couple of years where we can all not pay $1 billion at once.
No, because, is this because, you're treating more water based off of the growth of the city?
Yeah.
More, it's a heavier load, it's not so much water, we have plenty of capacity for the water. We
Okay,
don't have the capacity for the BOT.
Yeah, the strength of the water coming in.
is it the rags and things that are making it, like some?
No, it's, you go.
Go ahead, yeah,
I don't-
So the rags usually get removed at the headworks.
The headworks,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's a,
Thing and- yeah.
so we have capacity technically at the treatment plant of like 16 MGD. And our average annual flows are like, last year, 127 MGD, so not even 2 million gallons. So definitely hydraulically, it's not affected at all, but we have limits on everything, not just hydraulically on flows for the 16 MGD. We have like solids, like total suspended solids. We have we have a loading limit on that of pounds per day. We have a loading limit of BOD, which is like the strength. And so we're getting close to, well, in the summer months, I'll say, not when we're diluted, to that 85% max. And so I guess some of the indicators, that's a long thing, I can chat forever, but some of the things that require you to take action on for procurement or capital changes is hitting that 85% 3 months consecutively. And so a couple months in a row, if we hadn't ran extra samples, we would have this year for the first time ever, because it's just so much stronger. It's just a lot more BOD and a lot of higher strength concentration of wastewater coming in now in the summertime than we used to have.
And it also sits in the bellies of the lines, so you build up solids, you get a little rain or a good flush, it flushes it down there, and then the plants, had a stronger BOD loading than normal.
Yeah,
And so it's just trying to stay ahead of it so we don't end up in a moratorium or have to get that 85% and have to look for another engineering portion when we can fix it ourselves. That's what we're trying to do.
I. SC.
Oh, SCADA.
SCADA,
Yeah.
network equipment?
This supervisory control, acquisition, or is it supervisory control and data acquisition?
Oh,
Telemetry systems.
sure.
Yeah, so this is for our controls, sends communication between equipment throughout the plant, and helps us automate everything. Half of the plant is, or a portion of the plant is from the 80s.
85.
It's under, what do you call it, Monocon, and it doesn't communicate. We need other components and other computer systems to talk to it and then translate it to the newer stuff. So we wanted to bring it all up to date. This other stuff is outdated. If it fails, we replace it, trying to find used pieces, because they're not new anymore, for the Monocon. So we wanted to take it out to bid and, get everything updated so that we can have it all talk to each other. We don't have to have other, computers or, other expenditures that just try to make these things communicate. Because a lot of times it's the switches or components that help these things communicate that fail. And then when those fail, we don't know where the loss is because neither of them talk to each other. So it was one of those things, we're just trying to bring it all up to date. We went out to bid for that on August 19th. We received a single bid for the project. Board of Commissioners approved the bid on September 4th. We sent the award notification, we sent to Technical Systems Inc. on September 6th, and we're currently waiting the required documentation to proceed with the project end date currently for January 4th, 2025.
By rights, when we did the upgrade to the membranes, we should have done the whole plant. But because of a tight budget, we never did it. So something that's been hanging since 2004.
And what did you say dollar figure was for that?
Oh, so we had budgeted, $410,000 for that this year. The bid came in at 406. Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't know what the budget was. so.
Yeah.
I know how that works.
Yeah, magic question of public disclosure, right?
You guys get those here? That's crazy.
Get a few.
ERU counts for the 2025 budget.
All right, I'm gonna take this part over and then I'm gonna segue right into the summary of the square budget process and then let Martin talk about some of the new inclusions that are gonna be in there. I understand some of you folks, this is the first time you've been through a budget work, so I wanted to take an opportunity to just talk about, give you a very 10,000-foot view of our whole process. And then when we meet, hopefully on October 1st, and I provide the budget presentation, we can delve into a little more granular information to help you understand how things work. So what you have before you have two pieces of paper. One is your budget or your ERU counts. The other was a calculation that was used as agreed by the city and the district for determining what those ERUs are. Roughly an ERU is 180 gallons per day that we consider an ERU, and basically an individual connection. So each one is counted, and then we have an assigned rate that the treatment plant identifies as a costing need for its revenue. That is currently at $22.50 per ERU. And then we have an additional rate that we charge each one of the entities. When I say entities, the city and the district, even though we manage and oversee the plant, the district gets charged just like the city. The treatment plant is actually its own entity that we basically manage and operate the plant, but it gets treated as its own entity for things like this. So in doing so, we have also a $3 charge that is earmarked that goes directly into capital outlay. And you'll understand that more when we start going through the budget process, but I wanted to give you a rough overview of that. So what happens every year is the city and the district both do their counts, and then they provide each other to go over and review the data before it comes to me, or we finalize it, and then I put it together in this chart for the SQRF, which also gets calculated in and becomes the revenue portion of the reclamation facility budget. So really simple. You have some historical information on percentages and what those counts were. Somebody one of those years ago, we started providing those. And on the front, what you see is basically the last 3 years. You see the up and coming budget year, 2025 on top, the current year in the middle, and the previous year before, which will give you those counts for residential, commercial, total counts from each entity, and also the percentages. A couple of years ago, I added in just into the subject line to identify what those increases and decreases were, because everyone goes, well, how many we go up even though there, so you didn't have to do the math.
Yeah.
So that's what you have there. So for 2025, based on the 2024 counts, the city has increased its ERU count by 431, and the district has increased its by 186. This goes up to 617. Again, the 617 ERUs will go against the 2250 per ERU multiplied by 12 months for the city's portion and the district's portion, and then the $3 for direct capital will get multiplied by ERU counts by 12 for the direct capital contributions part of that revenue. How we do budgets for the SQRF is we have what's basically called a program budget. We have narrowed those down over the last 6-7 years, I believe, to 2 funds. We have an operating fund and we have a capital outlay fund. We used to have all these funds. We had, a fund for vehicles and a fund for this. We just pared it down to 2. We just need to make it simple. We got a little bit convoluted, a little bit too complex, and when a normal person cannot read and understand a budget, it's time for people to take a step back and say, we're doing this for the public. Let's make it very clear so it's understandable. And that's what we did. So we do a program budget. It identifies what those operating costs are, everything from labor to benefits to general supplies, maintenance of structures and those type of things. And those will all be included in that general operating budget. That's the 2250. And then the $3 one that you have is the capital outlays. And that covers things such as these grit pump replacements, the fine screen replacements, concrete structural repairs, those type of things. Because this, the district manages the treatment facility, we hold that under basically the same financial policies that we operate under the district here. So 15% of the general operating fund will automatically be contributed to capital. Now that may be increased if we need more things in that year for those capital outlays. So we just look at that. When we go through the budget and you have everything in front of you, this will all start making more sense. But I just wanted to kind of give you this, 10,000 foot view
Sure.
of how things are going. So that when you get the next meeting that we have, when we go through this, at least you kind of have an understanding of what's going on. It's been really simplified what it is. It's not as complex as some of the things we have going on here. We have a very simplified budget for down there. It's very easy to understand because you folks see your budgets for the city and they're prepared differently than we prepare ours. And so we wanted to provide a common simplistic document for everybody. So that it's quick and easy read, not too funky. Then I'll let Marty talk about some of the inclusions that we're looking for next year that are kind of out of the norm. Some of these we're kind of back into the corner on. We have to move forward with them. But then after that, if you have any questions, we're happy.
So your lift station, it's like your treatment plant budget is separate than your conveyance.
Yeah, the treatment plant's its own entity. It is a whole
All
separate.
separate panel, yeah.
Yeah, even though we manage and oversee, they're not combined.
Even though lift stations are all part of it,
Lift stations is all part of West Sound, just as the city has its.
Right.
collection of divisions.
I'm on it, yeah.
So, and the one thing about, I will say, you look at Metro. I think the Metro charge now is like $43 per ERU.
Okay,
And we're at what, 23 and a half?
2250 and then 3, so that's
No.
20.
At 25 and a half
charge ERU,
per ERU, so.
so apartment, same as 4-bedroom house. On here.
So the plants ran very efficiently considering, and we have the same type of treatment that Metro has. They have membranes in one of their plants, but they got 2 plants that are active with sludge, I think. One of them is,
On Metro, like Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some big plans.
They got big plans.
well, they have the membrane plant that's really cost them a lot, and they've had, but anyway, everything's working out, I think. You compare it to any plant around, if you have to look at it, the plant here at Port Orchard is producing the best water quality of anything in the area. And we have higher quality water due to the blending of the membrane with the activated sludge. So it's, we got a good deal going, really.
Oh, yeah.
Something to be proud of. The plant was the first ones that tested membranes for the state of Washington.
Wow,
So we were leaders in the field
yeah.
at the time, and so it's a pretty unique plant.
The appearance of it's not very large.
No, it's not very
No.
large. It's a very small.
From
program.
outside.
Yeah,
So you get inside.
Walk inside, yeah.
but it's something to be proud of
It's small, but
because,
it's like,
yeah, we as the city and the district has been leaders.
Yeah.
With that. And because it was a small plant, we had to do this expansion. Well, we had to look at something. Otherwise, most plants sit on 10 acres, 15.
Sure.
And we don't got nowhere to go, so we had to get more treatment in the same foot, and that's small footprint.
yeah, and a lot of people too probably figure out, why did they put it there? Well, it used to belong to the veterans home. veterans home, that was their
Right.
treatment plant, you know? So, you know, they, back in the early 1900s, they created the veterans home. and
No, it was created in 58.
Oh, 58?
It's been directly into the bay.
Oh.
With Port Orchard,
Yeah.
we built
Well,
the
they got
primary
civilized.
plant. We bought the primary plant, but anyway, they built that. They sold it to the district in city in 64. And then we built a new plant, secondary treatment plant in 85.
Yeah,
And then we upgraded 2003, 4. So, but it's a very unique plant.
Mhm.
Seems very efficient too.
Oh, yes.
right.
All right.
Last one on,
So Marty still has a couple of things to talk about for the inclusion.
Yeah, I don't want to get into total capital in our budget, it's gonna be a long one, and we'll talk about it, but a couple of things that popped up for us this year is, we have a phone system currently down there, this, Shortell, Mideville, and it's obsolete, and it's been obsolete, I think, for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not being supported like it is, and it becomes non-supportable in 2020.
Yeah, so it's not supported in 2025, so we're looking into, new Teams-based systems, Microsoft Teams, so the computer stuff and, like, we already have the online one, so this will be something you guys will see on there, because it has to be replaced, and we have to talk to people, unfortunately. But so you see that on there, and then we're gonna do put money in the budget for a salary survey. We want to incorporate the salary survey in next year's budget to minimize underpaying employees or turnover rates, and also overpaying employees. And see where we're at with that. It's been, I'm not sure how many years it's been.
It's been
2013, I believe, and then I did one 2000. But it's time to have a consultant. Benefits and check out marketplaces. You know, there's been a lot of changes in our economy. And one of the things that we've noticed, especially for some of our skilled workers, is some people are paying through the nose. We can't afford that. And we're trying to figure out where we need to be, because obviously for us as an entity, should the city be in the same position, we need to determine what those rates are going to be, or what those costs are going to be for employees. So we need to start incorporating those into our rates. Obviously that may change the cost for the score, but we need some data to substantiate that, figure out what's going on with the economy.
Sure.
That's really affecting things. We know that currently we've had positions open and we can't get anyone to apply. And, you know, we can't start somebody with, no skill set, no training, no certifications at $80,000 a year. That just is not tenable for us. And that's the people we're getting to apply. So we're trying to figure out, are we really under, and how do we address that? Also our benefits to make sure that, you know, we're within what the marketplace is. Our board has indicated that obviously we don't want to be the leader in that, but we do want to be somewhere in that top 10% median.
just being competitive.
To be competitive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we start losing people. We've done that years ago. That's where we were.
We know there's a little bit of a revolving.
Yeah, my day job. See it too
I
often.
think you've probably been there the longest, right?
Now you go from getting junk mail to getting employment offers. Yeah.
And the amount of money that's lost in staff time to go through HR, rewrite job descriptions, to hiring process, to orientations, to, I mean, it's,
And to train them to.
And to train them.
well, once you train them, and they fail to,
Yeah,
I won't name names, but there's people throwing money out there, you know, some municipalities. And it's crazy.
There are some out there that had, yes, and there's nothing we can do about that, and I know who they are.
Yeah, they're out there.
The one problem that we have ran into in the last couple of years is on a few employees that we've hired that haven't worked out. We've all paid for requirements before they leave. So that's really terrible. And as you know, anytime you hire a new employee, you actually lose a half an employee, because that first 6 months to a year, you have somebody trying to teach them,
Yeah.
and that reduces the level of service that they're providing. That means that has to be spread among other employees. And the new employee turnaround is very detrimental to an organization if you're doing it constantly.
Yeah,
We're trying to avoid getting to that position.
it's pretty deflating for the staff that currently works there. You know, it's.
It is, and you know, the one thing that saved Les Allen from dealing with a lot of that is our establishment of the culture within our organization. I'll be honest with you, that's what saved us from.
A lot of people leave jobs, oh, you know, that's how they leave jobs, not just for money. And it's not for the job, they're gonna go get a like job in the same field. They usually leave because of culture,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's
It's very important.
a big lesson that's, you know, that. All right,
What else you have there, Marty?
That's what I had. I had those two things that you're gonna see differently. You guys don't think you've seen the budget before, right? So you'll get it firsthand next meeting we have. It'll bring your coffee.
Yeah, we'll run through it, give you basically a summary of what's going on and what's in there, and then we'll go through and talk
now,
about it.
what month do you expect that to be?
That's October 1st.
Oh, so it's next month.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're not doing.
they're putting the budget
quarterly.
together right now. And
Yeah,
then,
we have an obligation, so
Yeah,
there's two
sure.
things that happen in our ILA, one is we have to get these counts out, and the other is we have to, I believe it's October 15th, or October 15th. have to budget to the city for review by October 10th.
So October first, so next week.
So that's when we present it to the SAC committee, your board, our board, everybody sees it, and then it goes back to your city council for anything, it'll go to NOAA.
well, then what we do as a committee is that once we have all the questions answered, we're satisfied, we vote on it and recommend it to the city. And then you guys take it to the council will look it over if they got questions or whatever. And then we vote on it here. You guys vote on it and then so we have it in our budgets. And
You vote on it first, and then.
It doesn't matter.
It has to be approved by the SAC committee.
SAC committee is the one that we're going for.
It's the first budget.
And we're all
But-
partners, so. it has
But
to-
we manage to operate it, so once the SAC committee is satisfied, which is comprised of the district and the city,
Sure.
then the district will adopt that budget so that the management and, you know, financial components of it are overseen as the SAC committee.
Yeah, the way it usually works is, you know, the questions are answered, everybody's satisfied, we know kind of where we're at. You guys might vote on it before us, or we might vote on it, you know, as far as, but it ain't final until both.
And the wage survey, that's just the consultants,
Yeah.
because, I mean, wage survey takes it.
That, we won't see that till next year. If there's any changes to be made or anything that would bring the city into the fray on that. While we're going to wages.
Yeah, just the budget wise, it's like.
Yeah,
Yeah, you won't see that until
They take
2026.
care.
in the time that, since '85, since we've been having the joint plant, we have never had a crisis where we had to amend the budget midterm so far. Not saying it couldn't happen, you know, but it would take something major to fail or something before we would have to go into a budget
Yeah,
mid-season. We have never done that, so. I mean, because
Yeah.
we try to we're trying to get ahead of everything.
Even at the 8% increase here on that one, 2,000.
Well,
We
there's a lot
have a
of,
lot of people out here.
yeah, there's a lot of growth. You know,
so the interesting thing about the sports budget is it's a fixed revenue based on an ERU count, so
Yeah.
there's no speculation of water sales.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
You pay regardless whether you live there or not.
and the weather doesn't affect us that way, so, you know, when we get that amount of money in, so it's really easy to budget for. Where water sales, when you get water, you know, you're selling water and you don't sell enough, then your budget's
Yeah.
short, and then you gotta figure out where you're gonna make it up at.
We get people who will live part-time somewhere else or whatnot, and they don't use as much water, and you have
Yeah.
people building swimming pools.
So any questions on any of these
No, I mean,
you have later on, you know, don't hesitate to ask us.
I didn't know, like. The apartment, you know, they'll, no, we're all team players, you know, I know they pay the same rate, apartment complex versus.
Oh, well, for the ERU counts for the treatment plant, what you folks charge for your utility services is the city's deal, so to speak, and
Sure,
what we charge is ours, we just have to have enough pocket recovery to pay.
That's what you're
cost. Yeah, yeah, we don't have any, this has no bearing other than you folks want to ensure that you're collecting enough to pay
to
the,
pay that, your share of.
yeah, sure, your share of the revenue, but what you.
What is it per gallon?
Well, it's not per gallon, it's per ERU.
Oh, okay.
Which is 180 gallons.
Yeah, we define that as 180, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we chose that number, you could choose different numbers, but I think it's a good example. It used to be, I think, 220 at one time, and so,
So, yeah, last year when I ran the numbers, I think the median consumption for connection was somewhere around 106 gallons per day.
Yeah.
So, but we'll say, we'll five vocal, you know. We're that perception.
Meeting's done. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Purple drink right there, but let's go.
Yeah, five vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have that one boy where you have no depth perception. Oh, yeah. You never fell upstairs. I learned to do this.
Right.
Okay, I'll let Jay know, prepare for October 1st. Would it be same time, 3 o'clock?
And this is the FYI, you folks saying, NOAA already has the numbers in 2025.
Oh.
So your budget, because how are you folks gonna do your budget stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
but it's not official until
Yeah,
the city,
official,
the
yeah.
district votes.
Official, yeah,
Change it.
Yeah,
but he has to have something to work with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
move for a jump.
A second.
There we go. We're out.
So, yeah, if you folks have